Okay, so I just wanted to show you now how we can use the same technique as I used to insert the PDF file to measure the areas a moment ago. Now I can insert a PDF file into this project we've been working on for the apartment and scale it so that it's the right size, and then I can easily get details and other things from that drawing and use them here where we've got a very similar drawing that we're going to produce. So if it's not clear, this is the detail I want. I've got this in the PDF file, and so in AutoCAD here you can see I've got a bathroom elevation, or it's really going to be a section coming through here that I want to draw. Where we'll see the vanity unit here cut through as a section, and so I'm not showing the walls in sections, so it really is in a way still an elevation, but we are going to show the vanity unit in section, which is common practice. With drawings like this, those elevations, like I've been saying, will turn into sections in part. So firstly, I need to know the page that I'm trying to insert. So this is 15 of 35. And so, again, back into AutoCAD now. Same as before, I'm going to go to the Insert tab, click the Attach button, choose the file yet again, example construction drawings. And if you get a message like this, that's okay. Just click OK. And then I can go down and find page 15. And like before, I'm going to put in a fairly big scale factor, 1000. You don't need to know why if you're not sure what that number means. Just go with it. Trust me, it's usually better than 1. That's why I do it. So again, just use that as a starting point, and then I'm also going to specify on the screen for insertion point. So that's an easy one to miss, but that's important here. So now I can click OK, and then you can see it's huge. That's okay, because I can click to place it and put it to one side. So now I can zoom out to find a dimension, and maybe because I'm going to be drawing the vanity unit here, I'll find a dimension in that area. So just like before, I'm going to now measure between my dimension lines. So again, thinking about where the dimension goes to, which is where the tick is there, and enter, escape, and now I can look through the history, and here I'm after the delta y. So if it's a negative value, just convert that to a positive or leave the minus off. So here you can see 44918 is the measurement I want for delta y. So I'm going to select those numbers, right click and choose copy. But it doesn't hurt with this just to choose or to measure that again. I'm going to go and measure and just try and pick up the same ends of my dimension. So coming down here to this line, and just make sure I got it right the first time. So the number is wrong. Okay, so that's why you check. Here we go. So 45003. So I'll select that and then copy that one, and let's see. Okay, because I've got it wrong, I'll check a third time. There's an old saying: measure twice, cut once. Which shows you it's always better to check, spend the extra time to make sure it's right before you go ahead and use that measurement, particularly when you're cutting bits of wood. But in any case, it's usually better to check the measurement first rather than checking it after you've gone and used that measurement. And you know, with bits of timber and things like that, it's easy to remember because you can't make a bit of timber longer after you've cut it too short. And again, just make it clear why it's good to get the measurement right. And it's exactly the same when you're drawing. So so again here, I've measured, and this time come back with the same figure. So that, I'm sure, is right. So 45003 is the size it is in AutoCAD. should be 900, but it's 45 metres. So using the scale button now, I click on the edge of the drawing to select it, and then enter, and then when it asks for the base point, I can choose a point like the bottom left corner, usually is good. And then when it asks for the scale factor, type in 900 / so 900 again being the dimension that's written, and then / or divided by the figure I can bring up by right clicking and going to paste. Enter, and now it's scaled down, so we know we're on the right track, and so I'll go and find that drawing again and find the measurement, and again just measure between the two dimension lines. Okay, and so then looking at the history, we can see there delta y is 900, so that's worked exactly. Now, if you've noticed that not all the dimensions are right, again, that's a good thing to notice, but you have to get used to living with that as well. So I will just measure something else so you can see that if you haven't noticed it. So I'll measure one of these other dimensions. So the 2100, oh no, so that's 1500, should be down to here. So, well, that one's not so far off. 1499 is pretty close actually. But you might find some of the horizontal measurements particularly won't be right. Here we can't see any, which is really good practice. Again, you can tell it's a student who was taught here the right way, and only put vertical measurements where possible on a section or an elevation. That's a really good habit to get into. And then don't have to worry so much about those issues. But again, it's good to think about that. So if you notice there's a measurement that's not right, especially if it's a measurement in a different direction, don't worry so much, as long as it's close to the right size. So now I'm going to select that PDF, and notice it goes to a new tab, a PDF underlay tab. So a good trick there is to go back to the Home tab, and you can still use any of the other tools there. So I can click on the Move button now, and the PDF is still selected, so I can then just click a base point, and because ortho's turned off and polar is as well, I can then just move this at any angle, and I'm going to bring it over so it's close to what I'm drawing, and then I'm going to draw a line from the floor line of my elevation, turn ortho on, and bring it across a bit more so that it's going far enough into this drawing, or I can even take it past, that's fine. I'm not worrying too much about the layers at this stage. So I'm going to select the PDF file now, again back to the Home tab, click Move, and then I want, which one do I want? Doesn't really matter actually, I think I'll get this one. So I'm going to select the line of the floor, and I think we're going to have to say the tiles are raised from the main floor line, so I'm going to go from that main floor line and snap it to the line I've just drawn. And then, if you like, you don't have to do the next step, but it sometimes helps. You can crop or clip the PDF by again selecting it, and then you've got the option there to create clipping boundary, and you can see there on the command line you've got rectangular, or you can just choose the rectangular option there, and then you can simply click 2 points to make a rectangle, and that'll crop out the other parts of the drawing, which is sometimes handy. Again, you don't have to do that. You could draw it just as well with everything showing, but if you want to take out some things and just make it a bit simpler or clearer, it doesn't hurt to do that. Okay, so now I can just continue drawing. I could maybe move this over a little bit. But then many of the things that are shown here I can just project across. So we're top of the cabinet. Here it's raised a little bit because we've got the tiles coming through as well. Now, watch out for that. So here it's actually clipping that line. So if that happens, just need to move the drawing a bit further away. So watch out for that. See how this one here also got clipped. That one's not so important, so I don't need to see that. But again, that can cause some problems. So there again, you can see, as long as I draw the line, this one, sorry, it's starting the wrong way, but yeah, maybe, yeah, I'll sort of say avoid clipping because I don't have to show you how to remove it from the clipping boundary. So yeah, maybe clipping's going a bit too far. If you're going to project off that, you probably will need to. The clipping's going to get in the way. So you can always just select the border and then go to remove clipping. And I think that's probably better. So here again, I can just project a line across. Now, there we go. There's my bead slip. Right, so lots of those things now can be traced, and other things can be projected. So here you can always project off and just take it across, and in some cases it might be easier just to measure, but I can always again do that, measuring across here. You can see that's 440, so I can round that off. And offset 440 from the wall. Cool. Get rid of that line. Okay, so again, the other lines can just be projected across. So maybe the one last little tip I can show you is that if you have a lot of these lines to do, sometimes it's easier just to draw one across, like so, and then simply copy it to all the points that you need. Okay, so then I can just trim those lines back in section. Okay, so hopefully that'll make it easier to draw the elevations, particularly for the bathroom, but use the same technique for the kitchen elevations as well. And it's good to get the elevations fairly complete before moving on to the next one, but when you're ready to do the next elevation, remember the option up there to rotate the views, which I showed you last week. And, these are just back to front the way I think of them. So here I want to go the other way, so it's this arrow to go around to the left and draw the elevation coming down this way around. So, yeah. When you finished it, so. Oh, no, that's not finished yet. So, yeah. Okay, so here you wouldn't see the sink in that part, so you just need to show the bits of board there that are being cut. You can project off some lines from the plan, but in this case, I'm just going to measure. So here with the measure tool, I'm going to measure from the wall again to the back of this board, which is, you can see there, not a round number, but I'm going to round it off to 380. And then I measure the distance again. So this piece of board doesn't hurt to check, but yet 20 mil. In reality, it might be 18, but we can just draw it 20. That's okay. So 380 and 20, I can now offset 380 from the wall, and then 20 to get the same lines there. So then, looking at the things here that finish at that line, you've got, say, the shelves, and this board here. So, using trim, you can select the line here where we know that shelf finishes, enter, and then I can cut these lines back, and this one as well. The bottom's a bit different, and this here is, again, different. So, looking at the section again, you can see why it's so useful to have it in AutoCAD. So you can see then we've got a piece at the bottom that's got a fillet or radius on it. So this line here is joining at the bottom to the front of the unit. So I can go to fillet now and set a radius of 20. Join these two lines together. Then to join the two lines above, and go back to fillet and just set the radius back to 0. Join the next two lines. Okay, so I've got these lines done, and then we've got 20 mil above that and 20 mil behind. I know, so have I gone, I'll just measure, I've gone 1 too few, so I'll just check that again. Yeah, so it's 380 to the back, sorry, so I've just got to bring that across. Yep. Okay, so I want to bring all of this 20 mil across. I've gone, well, I've left one piece of board off, so I'm going to use the stretch option there, and then just go, right to left like this. So I'll just show you that crossing window so you can see I've got the points inside that I want to move across. Right, so I'm making sure I don't have these 2 points here because they're where I want them. So now I press enter, click a base point, and then take it across 20 mil. Now you can see here these two lines are diagonal because I didn't stretch the top, but that's okay, I can go and stretch those 2 points separately. You may not have this problem because you probably will do it in the right position to begin with, but I had to do that to fix this because now I need to offset 20 mil more back to the left, and that gives me the line that I can use to fill it and join the inside. It's difficult explaining these things, but when you are drawing them, it should become fairly clear because you're essentially just projecting either from the plan or from the section. You can see that I've got most of the lines of that vanity unit, so there's a few more I could project off here. Also I've got the front there, so I've just assumed that's 20 mil. It could actually be more, but I'll keep it 20. Oh, it's actually okay, so yeah, we'll keep that 20. So Okay, so if you want this line here is the top of that diagonal. So I can again use fillet just to join so it's a bit clearer when you're looking at it, and it's got to get deleted anyway, but just so it's clear that that's the top of the door. And so I'm going to draw a line then from the corner with polar turned on, so it snaps to 45 degrees, and just bring that to the inside. So now again I can use fillet. Well, actually, so I don't even need to. I'm just going to delete that line. So that I can use trim, maybe, and tidy this up a bit more. So I'll choose this bottom of the bench for now, and just choose these two lines. So it's pretty close already. I'll hold off before trimming these lines, going to the left, just so it's clear which lines are projected from in the section over here. So really there's just this piece that really is for the sink anyway, so we're probably not going to see that actually, so that's not needed. Yeah, I've actually got most of them actually, so maybe I will trim for now just so it's a bit clear. So using the wall line there as my cutting edge, and then I can just choose these lines to cut. So that may even be enough. For this vanity, it doesn't need to be exactly the same as the other one, and a lot of the things that were shown there were for the sink anyway. So we may need to have the panel here that covers the downpipe showing as well. So that could be added in underneath here. But otherwise, that would be enough for the actual pieces of the cabinet. They should all be on the same layer, so I'm just going to change them all now to my cut layer. But that otherwise is essentially how the vanity would look in section. Maybe the only other thing you might add is the hatching. So that's something you would do last. So a bar, well, we've really got to do joinery hatch. So I'm just giving this a medium light line weight, 0.2. Okay, so then for timber, when it's cut, a diagonal hatch. So here you can choose one of those preset patterns, or an easy way is to go to use defined, and then just type in the spacing. So I'll try say 20. I'm going to change the angle to 45 as well, and then pick points, and I'm simply going to pick inside. You can see there that's maybe a little bit too far apart, but I can live with it, so I'll just leave it at that for now. I'll just do it all with the same hatch pattern for now. Yep, that's okay. So that would be enough for this project particularly. Your sections don't need to show all of the construction as long as they give a pretty good indication. That's fine. So for the vanity, that would be enough in section. Oh, you know, yeah, that's just use that as a guide. Just if you want the details, you don't need to use anything. It's just if you need it or if you want to use it to save some time. Okay, so and again, you can use that technique with any drawing. So you might find other details from drawings that you've downloaded or found somewhere else.